Hi there! So I am sat in my bedroom, my all black bedroom, to film a bit of a different video today. I did film this once already and I just hated the footage, so I'm refilming it, but I'm hoping actually now that I've had like a practice, I can talk about this a bit more confidently and maybe be a bit more helpful as well. There was definitely some stuff I should have included when I filmed previously that I will include now. So this is a bit different for me. Make yourself a drink, pour yourself a wine, depending on what time it is, I won't judge you, and let's get into it. So I bought my first property last year. I was 26, I just turned 26. I actually made the offer on my birthday. And I'm worried this is all gonna come across very negative, but you just have to bear in mind that I was really sad at the time. Last year was terrible for me, just beyond awful, and I won't go into too much detail about it because there's no good dwelling on things and there's other people involved and it's just not fair to talk about other people, but a bunch of stuff happened last year. I was in a car accident, my car got written off, I moved house about 3 times, I suffered a bereavement, so yeah, you know, there's things in there that I don't want to talk about because they're not just my story to tell, they are about other people. So yeah, if I do come across quite negative, bear in mind I was in a very bad place for the whole of last year, pretty much. So I made the offer on my birthday. First time I bought a flat, I was 26 years old. It was very overwhelming. Hi. He's come to say hi. Hello. Hello. Oh, such a sweet girl. You're a sweet girl, aren't you? You're gonna say, hey, look. Say hi. So yeah, where was I? So yeah, it was very overwhelming. So I'll start at the beginning, and I definitely want this to be something that's useful if you are buying somewhere. I did look around online, but there just wasn't much that was really helpful. It was all very heavy duty. I really liked all the Refinery 29 articles about people about people, you know, renting and buying properties all over the country. I knew this would happen. I can't even have 5 minutes. So yeah, I really enjoyed those Refinery 29 articles about people buying, renting on different budgets and things. Their first-hand accounts, they're really, really good if you look that up online. But a lot of it just, and also wasn't very interesting. And a lot of what you see on YouTube is people buying houses that've got massive budgets. And that's not the case for me. I'm very fortunate to buy somewhere, but I did not have, you know, millions of pounds in the bank to play with. So I hope this is helpful, and I'll try and start at the beginning. So I looked in London. I've just moved back from London back to the southwest where I'm from. I looked around London. It just financially wasn't the best choice. I probably, to get somewhere that I really liked, have had to go into a shared ownership scheme. So where you own a percentage of a property and then you pay rent on the other percentage. So they do all kinds of different splits. So you can put down just a small amount of money and own 20% of a property. Some schemes you can own 50%, 60%. And I decided that just wasn't for me. It was defeating the point. I'd still be paying rent. I would be investing my money, but it's for me, it wasn't what I wanted. So I started looking further and further outside of London, and I decided that I was just looking at all these places that I'd never even been before, and I thought that was really silly. So then I thought, okay, I'll look back home. Fine. I'd spent a day viewing properties in Bristol, which is the nearest big city to where I'm from. Didn't like anywhere. There were some stunning places, but I definitely decided that location was very, very important to me. I need to be able to walk to places. I do drive, but I hate driving. I drive for hours and hours and hours every week for work. I want to be able to walk to the shop on my day off, or, you know, walk to go and meet my friends, meet my family, whatever I'm doing. So I can't just live in the middle of nowhere. That wouldn't make me happy. Not right now anyway, maybe at some point. Yeah, and just the flats in locations that I was looking at in Bristol were tiny. Some of them were stunning, beautifully renovated, but teeny tiny, or the locations were just really not for me. So then I did a day of viewings in Bath. My flat that I ended up buying was the last one that I viewed. I didn't want to go and see it. My mum found it online and was like, Ali, you have to go and see this. And I thought, okay, yeah, I'm probably not going to like it, but since I'm out and about viewing all these houses, I will. Walked in and it was 3 times the size of anything else I'd viewed for the same price, or a bit lower than some places I viewed. So I kind of immediately knew that I probably would be making an offer. Very, very scruffy, very run down. So I knew there'd be work to do, but that wasn't enough to put me off. So we had a look round. My mum cried, which was really sweet. She really loved it. I went home and had a little think about it, but I knew at that point it would be somewhere that I would be interested in buying. Went back, I think, around a week later with my dad, and he had a look around as well, which was nice. It was really nice to involve him. That's another thing that's kind of important to my situation at the time. My dad is disabled, so I find it sad because it's something that he's always been a very hands-on parent, and he would have loved to have helped with so much of this if he could. But his advice was really, really helpful. He's a lot more critical than I am. So he was looking around going, oh, well, you know, what about this? And what about the socket here? It doesn't look like it's working. What about this bit of flooring? It's not very nice. What about that ceiling up there? So he was so helpful. And I had another think about it after that viewing, and I decided I definitely would make an offer, but a low offer, so I'd have some money left over to do all the work that was needed. I think it'd probably been a student house. I know no one had actually lived here for a long time. It's just very, very shabby, mostly cosmetic stuff. And yeah, after a little bit of toing and froing, my offer was accepted. A bit higher than the offer I placed, but still under the asking price, so I was really pleased. And also terrified. It's all so intimidating, and who do you go to ask for advice? Like, not many of my friends have been through this process before. So one of my friends and his girlfriend, now fiance, they bought somewhere a couple of years ago the other side of town. Their flat is beautiful, so they were really helpful. The solicitors I chose were super, super helpful. They were amazing, an all-female company that a friend recommended, and they were awesome. If you're based in the southwest, need a solicitor, I'll put you in touch. They were so good. No question was a stupid question. And then other than that, I had a couple of financial advice appointments, but they just scared the living shit out of me. They were so scary. They were nice. It was nice, you know, people advising me, but I think they just thought I was crazy. I'm 26, self-employed, but not like rich self-employed that makes a wage. And yeah, I think they just thought I was nuts. Buying alone as well, it's depressing to buy somewhere alone. Everything about the property market is designed for 2 people or more, I guess, but everything is basically designed for couples. So anyway, you look around, yeah, I think they're kind of expecting you to turn up with your husband or your wife or whatever, and yeah, I think people thought I was a bit nuts, but it's totally doable, it's totally possible. Don't let anyone put you off unless you are being crazy, is what I learned essentially. So yeah, where was I? So I'd made the offer, viewed the flat a few times. I think I came to view it after I'd, you know, everything was okayed as well, and just assessed it for the work that needed to be done. I popped in here with my builder as well, who was fantastic. He was so good. He signed for my fridge for me when I wasn't around to, you know, take deliveries of like my fridge and my washing machine. He was so honest with me about what needed doing, and he took so much care over the work that he did. So again, if you need a builder, I can hook you up. But yeah, I met with him and brought him round, and that was really, really good. And I could then kind of get in touch with other tradespeople. So I needed to book some electrical work. Cats doing all kinds of things in this room. I don't know how much you can hear, but they're scratching around, they're running around. So yeah, I booked electricians to come. There was some electrical work that needed doing. There was some stuff that I did after I moved in as well. So I've had some work done to 1 or 2 of the windows, nothing major, but there was one that wouldn't open, it opened but it wouldn't close again. It was getting cold and stuff like that. I had most of the hot water tank, it's not a boiler because my flat's all electric, I had most of that replaced, but there was a certain amount that I did after I moved in. The stuff that needed doing before I could move in was all done in around 6 weeks. So some building work, some electrical work, and I replaced all the flooring throughout the flat. So it was some really horrible, scruffy old laminate. And I replaced the bathroom floor and the kitchen and the first hallway floor for laminate, and then I did the rest of the flat in carpets. I live top floor. I've always lived top floor for a reason. You don't have noise from above, but I'm a clumsy, messy person, and I think carpets just make it really cozy as well. There have been times when I've regretted that, especially having 3 cats, and also when Bear was a little baby. She pissed all over my brand new carpets, but it's okay, they've been cleaned, it's fine. We've moved on. But yeah, I really, there were certain things that I thought it would just be stupid not to do before I moved in. So I basically gutted the whole place and refitted it out. Mostly did the kitchen. I did everything apart from changing the layout. So I kept the cupboards and changed literally everything else. Worktops, tiles, floor, everything. The bathroom I kept virtually the same but changed the floor. But all the big stuff was done before I moved in. So I think the next section of this little story time would be about actually living alone. I had never lived alone before. I was expecting to love it. Like, I was so excited. And yeah, I was really freaked out. So the first few weeks, first few months, it wasn't that I was scared or frightened. There have been a couple of frightening moments, which is a story for another day. I did have one tradesman round who frightened me to a point where I had to call my family because I was in the flat alone. He'd terrified Bear so much that she was clinging on to me. She had her claws sunk into my shoulder and wouldn't let me put her down. And yeah, but that is a story for another time. You put a lot of trust in people when you live alone, and you know, in situations like that. Everything was fine, I'm good. So it wasn't that I was scared, it was that I was waking up in the morning and I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? It was awful. I was just so freaked out, and it was so quiet. It's not a feeling of freedom. It's a feeling of, I've woken up today, I could do anything. Oh my God, what do I do? Where do I start? It was really weird. It's definitely improved now that I've got the cats here, because I never am alone. In fact, it would be nice, there's one of them trying to dig a hole through my floor right here. It'd be nice to have 5 minutes alone sometimes so I could take a shower without at least one set of little orange eyes peering at me through the shower screen. But never mind, they're very nice. They are great company. So yeah, I was totally freaked out by living alone. I would say, I mean, if you have any tips for me, I wouldn't say I'm struggling anymore. I have moments where I really enjoy it, but yeah, it's still something that I'm working on adjusting to, I guess. So if you have tips for me, please share them. Write me a message, a comment. I would love to hear about your experiences, if you've got any advice. It took me a while to adjust, and it's just things like everything is so little is designed just for one person. Like, it takes me sometimes multiple trips just to go and put the rubbish and the recycling out because I can't do it all, you know, I'm exhausted but I still have to take things in and out of the car at the end of the day, and like, I only clean up after my own mess, which I'm forever grateful for. I'm not cleaning up after other people, but if something needs doing, it's only going to get done if I do it. So I think for the first few months I lived here, I didn't even sit down. I felt so pressured to always be doing something, unpacking, cleaning, tidying, cooking. Yeah, you don't, you know, if your bathroom's filthy, if your kitchen's not been cleaned, there's no one to do it for you, and I very much don't want to live in my own mess, my own filth. So I felt so much pressure, but now I feel like I'm really nailing it. I feel like I'm able to relax here, which is really good. Oh my god, I have to show you if I can. What are you doing? What are you doing in there? This is one of my bedside tables. There's a little box underneath it where I keep books and things. Oh my goodness, you cutie. Anyway, so yeah, living alone, another big adjustment. I think my advice would be just, even if you're busy, just say yes to stuff. Like, I'd always say yes to any company for anything. So if my mum, you know, I mentioned I was going to IKEA, if my mum wanted to go, we'd go together. I always have some kind of noise on as well. So I always have the TV on. I've got a TV in my bedroom as well. I barely spend any time in here actually, but it's just nice to have it on for like half an hour in the morning, so I'm not waking up in absolute silence and freaking out apparently. I always have the TV on, or some music, or something really interesting to listen to. Like if I am just pottering around like cooking dinner or cleaning or working, I'll put a podcast on. So I think living in silence would just drive you insane very quickly. So that's one of my top tips. It sounds really basic, but I think it's really effective. And then my second bit of advice would be get cats. They're awesome. They're so much fun. Get Persian cats. There's so many that need adopting. Like just get one or 3 or more. Hi, Pumpkin Grobkin. You good girl. So some more advice about the actual process. You just have to start somewhere. If you are currently thinking about buying somewhere, just start somewhere. So start with an appointment with a mortgage advisor, or start with a viewing if that's what it takes to give you a kick up the arse to get the process kick-started. Dumpling agrees. Just do anything. Take one small step towards it and the rest will follow. So I started out, I looked at a few flats online, I looked at a few houses online, but just with my budget and the locations, I would have got more for my money from a flat than a house. Like, it's just how it is. But I looked at a few places online, and then I had a financial advice appointment that brought me right back down to earth, and they were like, you're nuts. You can possibly afford like a garage somewhere, and maybe you can sleep in there. And I was like, okay. But just start somewhere, start anywhere. Moving's always awful. Accept people's help, accept people's advice, any tips you can get from people, any practical help. But as long as you've started the process, you will be able to finish it. So what's next in this story time? In the nicest possible way, this flat is lovely. It's got plenty of room for me. It has everything I need. The location's amazing. I'm really close to the main roads and motorways for work, but then about a mile away from the town centre where I live, so I can walk. It's a nice flat, easy walk. I can walk into town to go and, you know, meet my friends, meet my family, pop to the shops, pop to the cinema, whatever I want to do. So it's really good. It's good for commuting, it's good for my days off, but I know it's not my forever home. I mean, it would be fine if it was. It's really lovely, but I now know that I definitely want a house. And I do still look, if you've moved recently, you probably still do this as well. I still look at property listings. Anytime I walk past an estate agents, anytime they pop up online, I always have a look through. And there's been one house that I applied to go and view. I applied twice and they never got back to me, but I think it would be in budget and it was lovely. So yeah, I think I don't want to move next year. If something amazing came up, I'd go and view it 100%. I don't really want to move next year because I've moved so much this year, not this year, last year. So I think maybe in 2 years I'll seriously start to look at moving again and move here hopefully into a house. It would be nice to have a little outdoor garden. I have a balcony here which I absolutely love. Don't make enough use of it, but it's so nice to sit out there and just have a coffee in the mornings or have a glass of wine at night time. It's really lovely. But I think it would be nice to have a little garden, and then when I have people around, that would be really, you know, be a nice place to hang out. It would be nice not to live in a building with other people. I know you still have neighbours if you're in a house. I know we have another cat in a box I have to show you. Blue? Blue? Where are you going? Guys, oh, is there about to be a little fight? No, we're going to be grown-ups, thank you. Where was I? Yeah, I know if you live, where was I? Yeah, I know if you live in a house you can still have problems with neighbours and stuff, but you're not in such close proximity, and you're not so affected by other people's, you know, you're not affected by problems with the building. It's all your problem. You're not affected by maybe other people's sort of issues and how they're maintaining their flat or whatever. I still have, so when you live in a flat you still have building management, so I can't remember what the rules are. There's loads of weird rules, but I don't own any percentage of the roof. They own the roof, they own the land that the property's on, or the ground or something. Technically I don't own the balcony belongs to them because it's on the outside of the outside wall. So you still pay fees. I pay about £100 a month-ish, which they take twice a year, which isn't so bad. But it does mean that they have rules like you're not supposed to put washing on your balcony. I'm not saying who breaks the rules around here, but there's more than one person. Yeah, just stuff like that would be nice not to have to deal with, and I think it would just be nice to have that little bit more space as well. So that's definitely what's next, but not immediately unless something comes up that I just can't turn down. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about doing this type of video. Thank you for watching if you've made it this far. And please tell me about your experiences of buying your first house or your first flat. I would love to hear about it. If you have any advice for me, leave it below, or if you have advice for other people, leave it there as well. And you know, we can all share some tips and things, because if you're going it alone like I have, it's so overwhelming and so scary. So I think it would be so nice just to have a bit more online about you know, about this kind of stuff for young people. I know some people buy properties when they're way younger than me, or much older, or not at all. That I do feel like at 26 I was like a bit of an odd one out, and I was definitely treated that way by a lot of people I spoke to, you know, when I was during the process. So it would be great if we could all share some advice and ideas and things. I have actually filmed another video, so I filmed like a little part 2 to this already, which I'll upload later. It is a house tour. I'm not saying that my house is anything special or anything super interesting. I don't know how interesting this tour is going to be, but I thought since I've just sat here and talked about it for so long, I might as well show you around. So look out for that going up in a couple of days, and thank you so much for watching. Bye!